Mckeon, partner at the JMB FLP. And today we'll be reviewing the following CNBC shows: Fast Money, Mad Money, and Options Action for the week of January the 19th to January 22nd, 2010. Now, this is merely a review of the following shows: Fast Money, Mad Money, and Options Action, and only looks at the upside placed in these shows, not the underlying options used in these calls. And ETFs may be used in place of indexes and commodities. Now, what we merely do is review those shows and narrow them down to these free websites. And again, I'd like to remind you that all analyst recommendations are as of January 22nd, 2010. Now, first we look at the CNBC show Fast Money. Now, looking at all of Guy Adami's picks for this week, you can see that Jan19-Jan, Hewlett-Packard, WDC, FCX, and Qualcomm all make it into the buy camp for this week. You can also see the rest of his plays for the week that made it into the hold and sell camps as well. Also, there was Daniel Clifton. You can see that Pfizer is the only one of his plays that made it into the buy camp this week. As for Karen Feinerman, she had IBM, Johnson & Johnson, Oracle, and Pfizer all make it into the moderate buy camp at this time. You can also see her plays that made it into the hold camp as well. Then there was also Dennis Gartman. He had HON and gold come in as moderate buys. As for Pete Najarian, he had McDonald's, Teva, Apple, WDC, FCX, Intel, and Pfizer all make it into the moderate buy camp. You can also see his plays that made it into the hold and sell camps as well. Now, Tim Seymour had IBM, Teva, Apple, and Berkshire Class B shares make it into the buy camp this week. And also you can see all of his plays that made it into the hold and sell camps as well. As for Joe Terranova, he had IBM, Apple, EMC, Gold, and FCX all come in as moderate buys for the week. And you can also see his plays that made it into the hold and sell camps as well. Now, there were also some special guests on the show. There was Richard Bernstein and Todd Gordon. Now, of those two, Johnson & Johnson was the only one to make it into the buy camp with a rating of moderate buy. And there was also Brad Hintz and Gary Kaminsky, and you can see that none of their plays made it into the buy camp for this week. As for John Najarian and Peter Schiff, Peter was the only one to come in with a buy recommendation from gold with a rating of moderate buy. As for Brian Sutherland and Whitney Tilson, Brian had EMC make it into the moderate buy camp, and Whitney had Berkshire Class B shares make it into the moderate buy camp at this time. Now, onto the show Mad Money with Jim Cramer. Now, here's all of his plays that made it into the buy camp this week. You have Celgene, McDonald's, TLVT, Apple, Cisco, GIS, J&J, APD, BMY, Intel, KMP, LLTC, Procter & Gamble, Qualcomm, TMO, Travelers, and WellPoint all come in as moderate buys for the week. You can also see all of Cramer's plays that he chose to move to the upside that rate a hold at this time. Also, here's all of Cramer's plays that rate a sell using our system. Now, onto the show, Options Action. Now, Mike and Dan had no upside plays for the week. And the same holds true with Scott and Carter. They had no upside plays for the week. So, in review, the moderate buys are Celgene, IBM, McDonald's, Teva, TLVT, Apple, Cisco, EMC, GIS, Honeywell, Hewlett-Packard, Johnson & Johnson, Oracle, WDC, Gold, APD, BMY, Berkshire Class B, FCX, Intel, KMP, LLTC, Pfizer, Procter & Gamble, Qualcomm, TMO, Travelers, and WellPoint all make it into the moderate buy camp at this time. You can also see that there are no strong buys at this time. Now, again, I'd like to remind you that all analyst recommendations are as of January 22nd, 2010. And I am not a licensed investment advisor, and the investments I am showing you today are what I'm doing for my friends and family's accounts. And I am not affiliated with CNBC or any of its affiliates, or any of the websites used to determine these rankings. And I currently own shares of Apple, Berkshire Hathaway, Colgate-Palmolive, Freeport-Mckeon, General Electric, Procter & Gamble, and the NASDAQ 100. Hello, I'm Brian Mckeon, creator of The Predatory Lender. Now, if the previous was a little too boring for you, try joining the Predatory Lending team as they go on their intergalactic adventures trying to hunt down the next great investment opportunity for you.